take one. Kid like, there's takes. No.
That literally was my thought.
Too busy, like, and I'm like,
I think this took like a month to finally convince me to
yeah,
come
just to get you. Okay, well, what's that supposed to mean?
Like,
what's that supposed to mean?
Okay, you were the guy that though like had always been dating somebody. Like I was the, but like in the nicest way possible.
I remember being like, I really want this book, but obviously I didn't have money, and I was like, oh, so I went home because they'd be there for like a week, and I'm like, hey, Dad, can I please get this book? And he's like, hey, Jordan, no.
You know what though? I think growing up, I just was a kid that didn't want to hang out with people.
I was like, if I punch myself hard in the nose, I think I can make myself like nosebleed and they'll send me in. Success.
There was a point in our family where like we were all dating somebody, and then it flipped to the point where like we had all kind of broken up with somebody, and then I ended up being the only person dating somebody, and that was not okay.
Okay, no. Welcome back to the Jordan Whitrock Show. Obviously, I'm your host, Jordan Whitrock, back here with another episode. Today, we have a pretty cool guest. You know, I'm going to intro her a little bit better than Isaac did to me for the last episode. We did live together, but that's not what makes her awesome. She's someone I looked up to probably my whole life, as she is my older sister. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show, Katelyn Whitrock.
Hey!
All right, so this is a pretty big deal.
Yep.
Because you're the first female on this show. I'm not even going to lie to you when I say I've been working on getting a female on this show. I've been working pretty hard. And a lot of people are like, oh, like, I'm gone. Or like, hey, too busy. Like, and I'm like,
I think this took like a month to finally convince me to come
just to get you. So, you know, how does it feel being the first female on the Jordan Whitrock Show?
I feel like I should be wearing a medal or something, you know, have a little trophy or something.
I don't even have a medal that I could give you.
Or, you know, gold sticker. Those always meant a lot in school.
Yeah. So you were a sticker person in school?
Yeah, or the snatching. What is it? The sniff and scratch ones.
Oh, you were just like sniffing the... Yeah, I don't even... Yeah, I guess. Actually, okay. Well, hey, Alex is also here. Let's go. I remembered in the first 3 minutes. It wasn't minute 20.
There we go.
Okay. Question for both of you: were you a scratch and sniff sticker person, or were you like those smelling markers, the like blueberry, strawberry smelling markers? Which one were you?
I would say the sticker, because sometimes the markers were funky, but I did enjoy coloring with those. But yeah, when you like a whole bunch of them.
The stickers.
I'm marker.
Oh, do you remember the bookmarks?
Oh, no.
Do you remember the bookmark ones though? Where it was like the pizza,
barely, though,
or like they had like the dirt one, and I remember
that would be at like the Scholastic like book fair
the book
stuff,
fairs,
right?
like elementary.
Dude, did you ever get a book from there?
Probably.
Do you remember your first book you ever got?
No.
Okay, dude, mine's a core memory. So
yeah.
I hated reading growing up, right?
We all know that.
We all know that.
We all went through that phase.
We were fighting, button heads, you know, with the parents. And so I think I would have been in third grade. No, it's called fourth grade. I was in fourth grade.
Was that what?
Green Bay.
Okay.
And so I never got anything more than like a 50-cent dollar bill eraser, right? Those erasers. And like when we were younger, there was 5 of us at the time with my parents. Like there wasn't a lot of excess money to be like go to like the book fair, spend money on all that kind of stuff, right? Which was like
always give us like something.
And like that's not saying that's because they were always like, hey, instead of spending money on
we'll
like
go to the library.
You
can rent as many books
or
as
like,
you want.
hey, like by us not giving each kid $20 to go spend at the book fair, we can go stay at a hotel. So it's like. My kid brain was like, you're not letting me have like a fun, cool,
you don't want
stretchy
me to read?
toy. And they're like, well, we'd maybe get you a book. And I'm like, but I don't want a book. I want the cool.
Book? Yeah.
Anyway, so we'd always go down as a class or whatever. And I remember we went in and I was looking at the books and I was like, why am I here? I know I'm not going to get one. And then I saw this book.
Okay.
I forgot what it's called, but it was something it was like I something. Like it was like I Illusions or something like that.
Okay.
That's what the book was called. And I was like flipping through and I'm like, holy cow, like this thing's tripping my mind. Cause it'd be like, oh, like, is this a dog or a bird? And like based on how you'd like hold the book, it would be like, hey, like what side is longer on this triangle? Like these two or this one? And you'd be like, well, it looks like the 2 would be the longest. And they're like, actually, it's not. And it mend your and it was just so fun to like do something like that. And so I remember being like, I really want this book, but obviously I didn't have money. And I was like, oh, so I went home because they'd be there for like a week. And I'm like, hey, Dad, can I please get this book? And he's like, hey, Jordan, no. And I remember I probably threw a fit. I'm not gonna lie, and I was like, "No, like why?
Like I actually want a book."
And he's probably like, Is this actually a book? You know? And I think I'd like me being like the sneaky kid I was probably like, yeah, like I totally would read it. Like it's a good book, and it's like not even reading at all. And so little did I know, later that week he went down there, and because it was always in the springtime, and my birthday's in the spring, so he went down there by himself. Found the book, bought it.
Aww.
And then that was my birthday present. It's like I remember getting that book and being like, no way. And then of course, like after you figure out what all the illusions are.
You're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
great book.
That was like my book that I got. The only one I ever got from the bookstore. Was
you didn't even get to buy it.
I don't even know where that thing is now. I did see it recently.
Probably somewhere.
But I don't know if it's like in a box I have. Could be in a box that like has all my textbooks, you know. It's right next to us, you know.
Same level.
Philosophy of media and the I Illusion book. So
do you remember going down like before the book thing and like you'd go into that little auditorium area and they would like talk about all like the popular books that year?
Like Green Bay, and this would
in Green Bay,
this would just be the library.
Yeah, just the library.
No, because why would I pay attention? Yeah,
okay.
But I continue. Yeah,
I was gonna say there was one book that I remember, and it was called Trapped, and it was about like kids that would have been like our age, because I would have been like middle school there. Yeah, like 6th, 7th grade. Okay. And there was like a big snowstorm and they got locked into the school, and it was like how they survived the school, and it was like, oh my God, this really good book. But as you were talking, that was one book I remember I did end up buying from the
your
book
own
fair.
Money.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't. We didn't really make money as kids. Like we didn't.
It was probably like birthday money,
yeah.
Because like they would pull a huge chunk and put it in like your little savings account.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always some sort of spending.
I just don't remember ever having money when I was younger. You know what? You and
I do not feel that
You and Rachel
way.
were throwing those fairs, and I was trying.
Hey, that was Rachel.
I was trying to win those prizes. All right,
I think Isaac got screwed the most.
Okay. For those, we're gonna go to the wide shot. For those people who didn't know, when we were younger, we'd put fairs on for each other. Especially
we had
the
these
older,
tents.
Yeah,
That's what started it.
But it was like, hey, you could like if you went to a fair, you'd be like a cornhole or something like that.
You know, the games that rip you off.
Yeah.
It's those games. That's what we used to do.
And so like Rachel and Kate would like be like, hey, pay a nickel, you can play this game, and you can get this like toy that's ours that we're gonna ask for it back. Yeah. But we didn't know it at the time. They were gonna ask for it back or just take it back because it was over.
See, I just remember I was the one that like set it all up and would make it really cool, and Rachel was the one that actually like would put it on.
Yeah.
Because I was the designer.
And then I was like, dang, this is a good business model. I got to get into this too.
Yeah, it'd be like the nickels and dimes. Yeah. And be like, well, this one's a quarter. This one just went up in price. Or trying to sell your old CDs that were all scratched.
Dude, you know what I remember being in? So that house was so big. Mm-hmm. And so Isaac and I's room, which was over the 3-story. No,
yeah, it was over the
honestly,
garage.
It was 3. It had to been, honestly, it could have been 4-story garage. And basically, my brother Isaac and I's was like right over it, and
then behind would have been Kenzie's.
Yeah, it was Kenzie's room, but there was like a weird back area. That's where Mom put all the books.
Oh yeah, it was that weird little bump
cubby,
out.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got the cats. We had these like weird boxes that you could like break down a wall, and it looked like kind of like a cage or whatever. And so what we would do,
was that the weird colorful ones?
The like blue one. No, they were like the blue box. They always hold like the rubber dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. I remember I would like put that on the bottom, open one side, and then we'd build the wall like insanely high, and then we'd throw the cat over. So that it couldn't get out.
Was this the first Prince or Nikita?
Macy, all of them.
Oh my God!
So we'd throw them over the wall, and then they would be trapped in there. But you could see them like a zoo because the like plastic box they would be by the plastic box trying to get out, and you'd be like, oh hi.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
Oh my God. Oh my God. But yeah, that was
terrifying.
But you never did that?
No, I don't remember you doing that.
You're allergic though.
No, I was fine. I was honestly, allergy wise, I was good until I moved out. Then I feel like my allergies are like full force.
I feel like every time you went to, I guess friends would have different animals. Yeah, never
well, and usually like like the one friend I can remember in Green Bay, like Megan never had pets, and then like Allison, she had a golden retriever, and I actually had to leave her house, and her mom ended up staying overnight at our house because you guys were in Milwaukee or something. But then I just like learned I couldn't sleep over at her place.
That's
but otherwise,
crazy.
majority of my friends didn't have like pets.
So what are you allergic to again?
Dogs, cats,
Is it
horses.
like, is it just hair? Like, is it
no? There's like a in their saliva. No, it's like there's saliva. So like there's a protein in it that's what triggers my allergies. And so like even if like you shave your pet, that doesn't mean I'm not going to be allergic to them. If that makes sense. So like Sarah, she has like a golden doodle right now.
Bald cats that like have no hair.
So like that's why we can have like Macy and Nikita and they're hairy cats, but there's something in their protein where it's
and
like
they lick themselves all the time.
Well, right, and dogs do the same.
Bro, that makes so much sense.
So it's not actually the hair that I'm allergic to.
But
so like
because
with
they lick themselves,
right,
the protein is on the fur that you touch.
Right. So like the worst is like when a pet like licks your hand, like my hand will break out.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why like when I come here and like dust is also like a major allergy for me, which this house is older.
Okay. Let's get to know you a little bit more before we go more personal, so that people are like, okay, we
allergies.
Okay. So in our family, there's 5 kids now, 6. So it goes Rachel, you, Katelyn, me, Jordan, and then we have Isaac and Mackenzie, and now we have Ivy, and so that's like the 6 of us or whatever. So all I know is that when you and Rachel were born, Dad didn't want to have another kid. And Mom convinced him to have another kid, which was me. And I was the golden child.
3.
But I was the golden child that let Dad be like, you know what? Let's have more kids.
Well, you were the boy. So they had 2 girls, and he's like, oh, I finally have a boy. And
no,
like,
I think because I just didn't want anything to do with them. I was like, just put me back.
Well, I was a colicky baby. I wasn't a happy baby. I am sorry, Mom.
So that's where we start off. Okay. So then, what's the earliest memory that you have in the sense of like you could be like, oh, like I remember barely like the end of Grantsburg. Like I couldn't tell you.
You don't really remember Grantsburg?
I couldn't tell you much about the first year there. And then the second year, I guess it would be the second year because I remember us being in the little tiny log cabin home.
Okay.
And then I remember us going to the other house.
Interesting. So. I would say that's where like a lot of my memories, like first memories are. I don't really remember anything in Rapids, Wausau, Rib Mountain. And like if I do, I don't know if it's because of like video. So like some of those memories I'm like, I don't really know. Or like Disney, I'm like, I don't think I remember Disney, but like I remember it because of the videos. Like the one, what was it?
Oh no, I do remember. I only remember one traumatic experience at Disney. That's the only thing. It was when you guys all got to go on that one ride.
Oh, I had one of those too.
And I was just like,
it was the Little Mermaid ride that was not the little.
So you weren't able to go on.
What is it like? The Journey to Atlantis, which I did go on this past summer. It's not the same.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You went to Orlando?
No, we went to San Diego.
Oh, so it's not the same ride technically.
It was in SeaWorld. Technically, it's not at Disney.
Well, yeah, I know it's at SeaWorld or whatever. Yeah. But that's the one traumatic experience. And then I remember just like walking into like they would have had like a shop that had like a bunch of like toys, and I'm like, why am I even here? I can't even get any of these.
Isn't that when you got your big like killer whale thing?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I do remember. And I also got the toy box that had like all those little things.
Do you remember the suckers, like the twirly suckers that were like
like
that? Yes, I remember because I remember Aunt Kay. But otherwise, the only other memory I have of like I know is a true memory, and then like it is on the video. Yeah. But remember those 3 horses we had? It was like the spirit horse and like the brown one. I remember playing with them like at the pool, and then I remember playing with them like in the bathtub there.
I don't necessarily remember them in Disney. But I do remember them being in like Grantsburg.
Yeah. But yeah, otherwise I would say like Grantsburg was that. But I'm trying to think. I would have been like preschool, kindergarten.
Well, yeah, because we left when I was in 4K. So like I would have finished 4K and then gone into kindergarten.
But like I remember the little log cabin house. And then like my best friend Landon lived down the street. Yep. You could take the back way through the lady with all the bears.
Yeah, that was a crazy time to be alive. Okay,
so sorry, where were we at?
No, so we're just gonna like try to learn a little bit about you for the people watching, and then in turn they'll learn a little bit more about me from another perspective. Yeah. Okay, so then we moved from Grantsburg. We go to Whitewater.
Yep. And we were elementary because I would have moved in second grade.
Yeah, and I would have been in kindergarten.
So we were Lincoln Elementary, the Lincoln Leopards. Do you remember doing the mural?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I did that.
Yeah, you would have. each class got like a little section and you got to like paint one little thing. Okay. It's a core memory for me, my artistic,
Dude, I just remember the teacher being mad at me in kindergarten, like the first few weeks or whatever. And I didn't know necessarily why, but it was because I was just too loud. And so
no, Jordan loud.
Yeah, no. And so
What?
they're like, yeah, he just talks too loud or whatever. And so they wanted to put like those headphones on.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They wanted to put the headphones on me so I could hear how loud I was. And then they would make me, and then mom's like, absolutely not.
She's like, let's not have this kid be labeled.
No. Yeah, the bro's gonna be labeled as like deaf or
But look at your
something.
projection now. It's paid off.
Well, no, that wasn't the problem. They wanted me to shut up. But yeah, so I do remember there being, because I think they had me wear it one time.
Okay.
I do remember putting it on one time, and then because they must have just been like, hey, like we just need this kid to shut up, like put him on, and then like I must have went home, and then they sent a slip with me that said like, hey, this seemed to work really well with Jordan. Can we
Mom probably comes in the classroom the next day.
Yeah, and then I was like, no, you're not gonna do that to him. So, but I don't think it really caused any issues that way.
I remember being so excited when did you ever get pulled to like the principal's office and you were like, you're part of the reading book club with the principal? Okay, you might have been too young because I don't know if it was.
I didn't like reading. That was actually
no, but you might have been too young.
In an earlier episode, I talked about how in Whitewater I was illiterate, and they put me with all of the Hispanic kids in the need to learn how to read and write class. It
was their second language.
Exactly.
I saw that one. No, it must have been 4th grade then, because I think it was with Mr. Stewart. But I remember being like so proud to be like, Dad, I went to the principal's office today. I have a letter because like you weren't a bad kid or like you didn't get in trouble. And it was like such a big deal. And he's like, okay, cool. Like, yeah, you can go do this extra book club thing with.
That's pretty cool.
I forget her name though. I know her name was Jo, but I forget her last name.
I was gonna say it was a J, but I couldn't remember.
It started with a B. It was like, I don't know.
I don't know, Alex, did I ever talk about on the show me going to the principal's office?
Not that I can remember.
You went to the principal's office?
Yeah, I went to
a legit reason.
I had a legit reason. Yeah, Buddy and I, at the time, we got into a little bit of...
Wait, was that the one where your shirt ripped?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So one of my friends got stuck on, like, those bars you'd swing on? He just got stuck in the middle, but they were pretty high.
Like the zip lines?
Yeah, like the zip lines. But it wasn't like the one down the park, like down the street, is pretty low. But like that one was really high. I don't know what was like...
I mean, we were shorter than...
Anyway, 100%. But like... So he got stuck, and so then I like pushed his butt to like
Inappropriate.
Yeah, well, you should say it like that, but to like get him across or whatever. And then I got up, and then like something happened. He ripped my shirt, and then I was like gonna jokingly go up to him, to the principal, because like that was always the thing. Was like I'm gonna go tell the teacher.
I'm covered. Yeah.
Like no.
I thought you were being like self-righteous.
No,
like
all of us would say that. Like,
okay.
I'm gonna go, and then they'd be like, no, right? And and so that time I was like, dude, what happens if I actually do it? I was like, and so I went to the teacher that was out on the playground or whatever, and I was like, yo, like he ripped my shirt, and then he was like, oh, like he like pushed me, he like pushed my butt or something, or touched my butt, and I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like there's a clear situation as to why I did it. It was that, or you're gonna have to fall to your death. You know, it's like one of the two.
I was helping you.
Exactly. And so she's like, you two go to the principal's office. So we go in there, and we sit there the rest of the recess. And then we get like a pink slip that we have to take home.
You gotta get your parents to sign it.
They're gonna know. They're gonna know. So I walk in, and I remember I like walked into the house, and I'm like, Dad, I need to talk to you. This is me in 2nd grade. I'm like, big things.
He's probably
happening.
just trying not to laugh.
I'm like on the verge of tears. I handle the pink slip, and I start crying, and I'm like, I know, I didn't mean to. Like there was a lot going on that day. It wasn't that bad. And he's like, nah, it's fine. Like you're good or whatever. And I'm like, all right, sweet. So then we go back to school. Turns out that I had to serve another detention during recess. No.
Oh.
The other guy got 2 detentions because he ripped my shirt.
Wow.
And then I had to serve 1 though. But I remember sitting there and
feeling like the worst kid ever.
I'm trying to think of how the school. I think I got put in like the hiding spot.
Oh.
Like in the sense of like they had to split us. They put us in the office.
Yeah.
For recess, but there were like 2 spots. There was one spot that like all the teachers walking in could see, and then I got put in like the one that was like a little bit more. I was like, "Ooh, can't save my ass."
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna know I'm here. But I do remember one teacher walking in and be like, "Isn't that Mary's son?"
You're like, sorry, Mom.
And I'm like, no.
Oh my
I'm like,
God.
I'm a disgrace
so much
to the family.
Pressure though in that.
I'm like, I'm a disgrace to this family. But But then I was like, okay, never again. We
Yeah.
don't make jokes like that. Like where you go to the principal's and
Yeah.
serve your time.
Yeah.
There was one time in Whitewater. You know like how they made us like line up for recess, and it always took like 7 years because you had to find your
Yeah.
class and then the kids.
Usually it'd be like alphabetical order.
Yeah. So I was like, dude, what if we could just like find a way to go in early? So I'm like, guys, hear me out. I've seen this happen before where like if a kid comes up to a teacher with a bloody nose, they like send him in. I'm like, if I punch myself,
like where this is
if I punch
going.
myself hard enough in the
Oh,
nose,
Jordan.
maybe that's why I have a crooked nose. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, if I punch myself hard in the nose, I think I can make my like nose bleed, and they'll send me in. Success. I come up to the teacher like this. I'm like, yo, I got a bloody nose. Can I go in? They're like, yeah, go in. And so I like walk up there. I got blood dripping down the sidewalk into the school, and then it's dripping in the school to get to the principal's office or whatever. Turns out it took a lot longer than if I would have just waited, because then I had to get like the nose plug, all that kind of stuff. So
they make you sit there.
So then
like,
I was late to class, but I was like, yeah, that wasn't worth it. But it was a fun experience, you know. We got to try something new.
You got to meet the nurse. That's always nice.
Yeah, I don't remember her, but
I honestly don't remember like I remember the school was like almost like a backwards F, or was like an F with how like the like rows were in a sense, or the hallways.
Yeah.
But I really don't remember like the setup of it. Like the school I remember is like Red Smith, like the Green Bay school. So like if like dreams wise, like if I ever dream of a school, like it's always that school no matter what age I am. Like the 2-story.
I think that's for sure mine too, Green Bay. I don't really,
But like Grantsburg, I honestly I don't remember Grantsburg schools.
No, I mean I remember mine, dude.
I remember the outside, like the
So
playgrounds.
many traumatic experiences in school, dude. One time in pre-K,
Yeah.
it was like, hey, go like have fun in the corner, like everyone go grab your toys, you can go play, like whatever that is. And so we all run over there, and some kid throws a toy right in front of me. I happened to step on it just because he threw it in front of me.
Yeah.
The teacher saw me step on the toy, but not the kid throw it. And it was like, Jordan, you're sitting here the rest of recess. Like, as we all get up to go to recess to go play in the corner for 15, 20 minutes, she's like, that's unacceptable. Go sit down. I'm like,
Jordan's like, what?
I'm like, what
I like toys. I watched
like,
Toy Story.
I'm like, bro, I wouldn't have stepped on it if the kid wouldn't have
Right.
chucked it over his head to try to find whatever
Oh
he
my
was looking
God.
for. And I was like, dude, this is dumb. That's how I knew the system was rigged from the start,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. No.
So you can't trust the government these days.
Who was your? Do you remember your? Or no, kindergarten, or who was your pre-K teacher there? Was it the same one I had?
Yeah.
The blonde.
I don't know. I think she had glasses.
Okay. Because I was just thinking, I think Mrs. Newby was my kindergarten, but you wouldn't have been there.
Because that's the unique thing about us is that like because we had the 3-year curse, which we talked about. But like that means the year that you would start school, like
would be your last
would
year.
be the last year that I would go. So
Yeah.
like the preschool was like that was the first year when you were in Grantsburg, and that was my last year in Grantsburg, kind of thing. So it's like that's the unique thing is like sometimes we've had the same.
We did have
teachers from
overlapped.
that
Because
point.
gotcha. Interesting.
All right. Okay. So enough talking about us as children. Yeah. So what are you up to these days? So you went to college. Congratulations.
Thanks. We're done. We're out of college. Yeah.
That was a smooth transition, guys.
Yeah. College was something, and we're done with that, which is nice. We're over a year out of college. I work as a nurse.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Save the world, one
It's definitely
patient at a time.
not the area I thought I was going to go into. I was dead set on doing like heavy, like ICU, more like critical care. I did a lot of that as like capstones, more like in the last semesters of school. Loved it. And then reality kind of set in, and I realized I didn't want to work nights. And so I had found the only position that was a day shift. Which was a bigger deal to me than getting in like the ideal space. And either way, like you're going to get experience. But yeah, I was definitely like in nursing school. I was like, I'm never working med surg. Like if I can bypass it, we're going to bypass it. But actually, I honestly don't mind it. And you work your 3 days and have 4 days off. You're getting me like right after working
but
a
you're,
good
like,
5
you
days.
have to work,
but
like 12-hour shifts.
you
so
do work 12-hour
that's tough.
shifts. They're heavy.
What's the common 12? Is it like 7 to 7 or?
Ours is 6 to 6:30. So you get in like 5:45ish, and usually we leave by 6:30.
So you don't have paid lunch?
We don't get a paid lunch. No, we sometimes get a half an hour lunch. You know, if it's not crazy busy, but Yeah, it's been an adjustment versus like working clinic hours, which is like 8 to 5 and all that good stuff. You got like an hour for lunch.
My summer job that I do, cutting grass for long or whatever, like I just choose not to eat because you don't get paid lunch. And I was like, honestly,
see, we're not allowed to do that because it's a 12-hour shift. So
yeah,
technically,
so it'd be over
you
the 8
have
hours,
to,
and I barely work.
Yes.
If I like, I think the closest I've gotten was like 7.5, just because there's not a lot going on. But I was like, I'm not gonna like stop what I'm doing. I'll just like be hungry while I work, and then I'll go home and eat.
Just starve.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and starve.
You know what? It is funny though because it is an adjustment. Like I remember when I first started, it was like how do you adjust to this? Because like you can get really busy days where it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's like 3 o'clock. I haven't used the bathroom. I should go to the bathroom as you're like doing that for your patients, or you're like, did they eat breakfast? Did they have lunch? And you're like, oh, like I should eat too. Yeah, you're like, oh yeah. But no, it's just funny. So like I definitely had to switch around like what I ate, how I ate it, because it's like you get up so early in the morning, and I am not a morning person. I've become better at it, and I'm no longer a night owl, which I think is kind of sad.
Well, it's because you have to get up early.
Right. So, like, you know, I feel like an old person where it's like you're getting up at like 5:30 in the morning or I guess 5 o'clock.
I'm such a night owl, and this job is going to kill me when I start working at Alliance.
Yeah.
So.
But, like, I go to bed at like 9 o'clock at night. Like, I'm exhausted by 8:30, and you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like, I now understand why, like, mom and dad fell asleep during movies growing up, because I remember taking so much offense to that. Be like, you guys can't even stay up for a movie. And I'm like, oh, I get it.
Nah, you know what? Okay, at this point, it still bothers me, but it's different now.
Okay, you haven't matured enough yet?
No. We sit down and watch a movie. They fall asleep. That's fine.
Yeah.
What I hate is when they go like this. Oh, let me just try it one more time. And then
What's happening?
1 minute later, they're out again. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to end it because I don't want to have to keep watching the movie and looking over to make sure you're watching. Like, I don't want to have to do that because
Like,
that's not fun to me. And
no,
so
like
that's what bothers me is when they're like, oh, let's give it one more try. I'm like, you're not going to make it. I'm like, unless I gave you like a
we would do a couple
something.
Nights. We'd try to watch like the same exact movie because like you would restart
Dude, that's
it.
Dad and I watch right. We're watching Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh.
And bro's falling. We got like.
You guys started at like 6 p.m.
We did.
Oh, that's bad.
Well, the first time we started a little bit later, which was like fine because it was like we got like a third in, or no, we probably got like a fourth in, and I was like, cool, like we can do it. So then we like when we were in Savannah, I was like, hey, like this movie's now free because then we lost it because we rented it. Well,
gotcha.
It was free when I watched it. Then literally went away from free. You had to rent it, so we rented it. He fell asleep multiple times, so I was like, okay, we're not gonna do that. Then we waited like 2 weeks. Then it was on Tubi for free, and so I was like, hey, like we can finish the movie. You don't have to pay for it. And so then we were in Savannah trying to watch it, and he kept falling asleep. And then I was like, dude, I'm done.
It's frustrating, but now I do it, so I'm like, I get it. It's okay. I don't think I've actually finished a movie without like dozing off at one point.
Well, his thing is like, oh, that movie's too sci-fi for me. I'm like, all right. I'm like,
no, I think it's just like you're just so tired by the end of the night. Versus like if you watch a movie at like noon. Like you're wide awake at noon, like no biggie. You're gonna stay awake.
Can I have a tissue?
Yeah. Here you go.
Wait, is this in the shot? Yeah, it is in the shot. All right.
You can keep it. Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. I just gotta blow my nose. Okay, guys, I'm fighting something. I don't know. There's someone attacking me.
Some sort of parasite bacteria.
That was the new ASMR for you guys. You had Nikita 2 shows ago. You're gonna get my nose blown this one. All right. So, there's a couple things I want to talk about today.
Cool.
Now that we know a little bit about you, how we
great warm up.
grew up, you know. So you hated me when we were younger.
I didn't hate you. We just kind of butted heads. You know, I think it
wasn't often though.
It was very often.
But I feel like I didn't do it. What did I do to make you like annoyed at me? From my point of view, I was kind of like just existing the younger brother. And my sister was just shitting on me all the time.
You know what, though? I think growing up, I just was a kid that didn't want to hang out with people. Like, I can even remember, like, it sounds bad, but, like, I remember, like, Isaac, like, he would be the one that would be like, let's play together. I'd be like, no, I'm good. Like, I'm playing by myself. Like, I just want to do what I want to do. Yeah. Or, like, Rachel, I remember... I probably started with Rachel, but like we got American Girl dolls because it was like that tradition in our families. Like when you were a second grader, you got your American Girl doll. And like I always had to play Pioneers because she never wanted to play the Revolutionary War, which is like what my lady was. And so then like I just got used to playing alone. So then like, you know, you liked playing Cars and I didn't really play Cars.
But I'm not even saying that was the issue. I just feel like there was a lot of hostility towards me when we grew up. You know
I think
it
was just
not that you would.
I think
even
it was
know.
like
yeah,
it was like competitive. Like
yeah.
I think there was a level. Like I was not a girly girl growing up. Like
Yeah.
mom wanted me in dance and like ice skating and like it was fun, but like I would much rather play soccer.
Yeah.
And so I think like to you just being the boy and like you not having to
Having
do
to
dance
do
or
that,
things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I think too that's where some of it started.
Yeah.
So it's like you were almost competing. I was competing against you
yeah.
to be like, yeah, I don't have to be in dance. I'm good enough
Yeah.
to just do this.
And I'm like, why are we competing?
Exactly. And I think that just kind of carried through school too. And I think it's just the idea of like, I remember competing with like Rachel and not like animosity wise, but it's like we had enough that we did different versus like we did a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah.
Versus like with sports and music.
I remember the one thing that like this. I mean, maybe this was the first time I noticed you like having some animosity towards me.
Junior.
No.
Oh.
This
that
is
was
way
another one.
before. This is way
What was
before.
that?
No, this was like I was
Grantsburg?
in Whitewater. I was in first grade. You would have been in third grade.
Okay.
And there was something hot on the market at that time in I
know this. The wheelies. I wanted those shoes so bad. And mom and dad got them for you.
Yep.
That was terrible.
Yeah. Well,
and you didn't even wear them. That was the worst part. Because at least if
Yeah.
you would have wore them and like had them, you get over
the
it.
thing is that like at that time all I did was like run. Like that a lot of times I was just outside running, and those
Yeah.
shoes weren't meant for running
No.
because either you had a
No,
wheel in
you
them,
could
so you
slide it down the hall.
You'd have like
It
a
was
wheel,
cool.
and like it would hurt you'd be like wearing high heels. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this is pretty.
Well, that's why I wanted them.
Exactly. And like I remember being on the porch trying to like hold the railing,
Yeah.
and I'm like, what the heck am I
You know
doing?
what's funny though? I actually had a conversation with mom like not too long ago because I was like, why didn't I get them?
Yeah.
Like there was something like I remember writing that on like 2 years on my Christmas
And maybe
list or what
I
it was.
stole that idea from you and was
No,
like,
do you
oh,
want to
I
know what
want
it was? She's like, no, they just looked too boyish and like that, like what was it, like the goth kind of
It was
vibe.
goth, though,
and she was
yeah.
like, I didn't want you to do that.
No,
and I was like,
like-
oh, so that's why I didn't get the shoes I wanted.
Honestly, though, I could get it.
Yeah.
And they
And,
got me
like,
the jet
seeing it-
black ones,
yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not a black shoe kind of guy, too.
No.
I just, for some reason, when I wear white shoes, don't even think about my shoes. If I wear black shoes, I don't know if it's obviously just like the color with my eye. It just catches my eye more, and I just start focusing on black shoes, and I'm like, oh, I don't like these
That's
black
interesting.
shoes.
Like
don't
I
know, it's
wear a lot
weird.
of white shoes,
Yeah.
like not at work, but like I wear like tennis shoes. A lot of them are white, or like I love like my white Vans. I'll wear those more than
Yeah.
not, but they're like comfy.
Alex, what about you? Do you like black or white shoes?
I wear a lot of different colors of shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
kind of all over.
He's a colorful person.
And even like, I think I just like the lighter. I like the lighter colors because I even have like a tan pair of shoes that I enjoy. But,
Yeah, but like I used to have like a black pair of Vans, and I would never wear them because they were just so dark.
Yeah. Well, I remember, so like obviously when our parents grew up, especially like our dad in sports, it was like, hey, you got a pair of shoes. After the season, you'd wear them until they like fell off. Then you get another. And so like,
Yeah,
I remember he got like in basketball, he got me a pair of high tops that were like really nice, but slightly too big. And I think he was like, oh, you're gonna grow into it. And I think it just took me a little bit longer than he thought to grow in. And so I just never liked those shoes. But I
was gonna say, they're a
remember,
very distinct style.
but I remember
though.
I didn't like the high tops because I like the running shoes. I like running shoes because I'm a soccer player, like
Right.
more than a basketball player,
Yeah.
especially at that time. And so I remember he'd get those high tops, and then I remember those just like sat in the porch. And there's multiple times he'd be like, "Why don't you never wear these shoes? Like you're just gonna." And I'm like, I don't like them. Like I don't want to wear them. And they were a black color with like a weird green and red, and I'm like.
Yeah.
It's not the time of
just
year.
not your
It's,
vibe.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, but so I remember that was like,
Yeah, that's
something.
funny. I kind of forgot about that. I didn't hold it against you, obviously. You know, we're over it now. A couple years later, it's fine. We're good.
Yeah, but I
you
remember-
can have the wheelies.
yeah, dude. And then
The one I hinted to, I guess.
the one, then the other. I mean,
Like, I mean,
high
like,
school is high school, but
yeah.
I remember
like Legos, I know was always a big thing in our
Oh,
family.
but that was
But I think
like,
that's something we
that
actually
was
bonded
everyone.
over.
That was like everyone though. That wasn't like an issue.
Well, I was thinking like Lego Wii.
Oh, that
Like,
was an
that was
issue-
more Green Bay.
and that was only an issue because there was only 2 remotes with 4
Right.
kids or 3
but like
kids that
usually
wanted to
we
play.
were the ones that like would play it. But I'd go in spurts. Like
Yeah.
you guys were more consistent.
I was trying to do the good work for for the
I just
family.
wanted all the money.
I remember that killed me all the time.
Yeah.
But then like I finally understood why we wanted all
because
the
then you
money.
could buy things.
Dude, remember when we got all the codes and we unlocked all those
We realized you could cheat.
Yeah, you got the cheat codes.
I don't know. I feel like somebody showed it to us.
Yeah, I think it was Megan.
Oh, maybe it was Megan.
100%.
But yeah, that was for like the older Star Wars one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And then I remember we finally unlocked everything for Pirates of the Caribbean. That was fun.
I was just thinking about that the other day.
Yeah.
And technically you can get it on like a PC or something. But I just don't know.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it'd be so fun to play again. But I don't know. They should create a new one. A little
Dude,
better quality.
Yeah.
Because like they did the... Which ones do we have?
You said you want them to do it with better quality?
Yeah, like updated. Or like they have a new movie
I don't
now.
know. Alex, did you ever play Nah, I doubt you played it, but the new Star Wars that came out with, I think that's like the most recent Lego game, and that was like
Oh yeah,
3
yeah. No,
years ago.
I played through it.
What were your thoughts on it?
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
I thought it looked really good, but the game itself was bad.
Well, I felt like it
And-
doesn't feel like a true Lego game because it doesn't have like the levels kind of thing. It's kind of just like an
that's-
open world thing.
Yeah,
That's
but
weird.
also like I heard there was like it wasn't hard enough in the sense of like the droids shooting you. They weren't like actually. I don't know. Like that's what I heard. The problem was is that like it didn't feel like you were dying enough, or if you were dying, it's just because you were like
Really bad.
jumping off the like.
Gotcha.
There was nothing in the game that could kill you besides you just like maybe jumping off a cliff. And, like,
Yeah, I
missing
guess
it.
I could see that being true.
And I know that, and like for me, that's what stopped me from getting it because I was like, well, I want to be able to
Right. Actually be
like,
challenged.
yeah, feel like
like I successfully
feel
did
like
this.
I remember like I don't know if you remember, but the Star Wars the saga.
Mm-hmm.
Remember episode 3 when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting each other, and you have to like run through the planet that's melting.
Yeah,
That's a tough level.
it is.
But that one was also like that was the movement that I think the newer Star Wars did well.
Gotcha.
But then I remember the level, and this might be I don't know if this might have been maybe this was I don't remember where this was. If this was in Saga or the Clone Wars, but when you're fighting against General Grievous, he's like actually kicking your butt like the entire time. Like you have to actually play it smart to not die. Where I feel like the other ones, it's like swing, boom,
Well, I was gonna
hit.
say I even felt that with like the Jurassic Park or like
Yeah.
the Harry Potter one we got. Although Lord of the Rings, that one was always just hard. But I think it's because I never actually like
Dude, I
knew
think
the
that was
story.
hard. I think that was
so-
hard. Yeah, we didn't know the story, but I think that was hard because the shading was tough. That was a dark
that's
game,
true.
and that
Or
was
you
that
know,
was the
Batman
first like
was like
open
that
world.
too. Batman was really dark, so you'd have to like
Yeah.
change the brightness, and then it looked really wonky on the
Or,
screen.
and honestly, it probably was our TV because we had that
Probably.
massive
and that was an
box
older
TV.
older game too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking about those Legos because my boyfriend Jordan,
Yep.
not you obviously, but he got a game and it's called like It Takes Two or It Takes Two
Oh.
or something to that degree.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like a whole story, but it's like very
No. The story is about like these two people getting divorced, right?
yeah, and their like daughter like cries and it's like I wish they didn't, and so then they turn into these little like game creature
Yeah.
things, and so like then they have to work together to like get through all the levels. But it like brought
Have
up
you finished the game yet?
no, we got to the part with the squirrels. I don't know
I've
how
never
far
played the
that
game,
is.
but
No, it was just funny because it like brought back all like the Lego Star Wars. Because like I didn't really like I played Madden maybe once or twice, but like usually it was
Yeah,
like
you're
Legos
not-
or like Just Dance. Like
No,
that
Cars
was
2.
Oh, and Cars 2.
Cars 2
And I
was
guess
good.
Toy Story. Like that was another.
But that was like the same thing like Legos. The Toy
Yeah.
Story was like Legos.
But it was like that feel of that game, and it was fun. But it was getting frustrating because I'm just not a gamer.
Like, I actually just recently saw a couple Instagram reels about like people playing that game or
Oh,
whatever, and
so
it's
funny.
like it's like the two music. It's like one where like the guy's like that sweaty gamer who's like clicking it kind of thing, and it's like the guy keeps dying, and then the other one is singing like some like I don't know what the song was, but like a song like it would be like Miley Cyrus is put your hands up to play that song, and the guy's just like killing all the jumps
Oh
and
my
like
God.
backflipping and stuff, and the other and then it switches to the other person like, and
Oh
it's
my
like
God. Well, I felt like that person is like, I don't know what it is, but like you like are trying to get into it. And like once you're into it, like, I don't know, like I click a lot. And if like, it's not moving, like you click
Yeah.
more because like if you're not clicking hard enough, then obviously that's why it's not working.
Yep.
It's maybe not just because you're overthinking it, which is what it was. But it was just funny because like Jordan like obviously does game and he's like all cool and collected and like
Yeah.
waiting for me. Or like there was one level where like I just kept dying and I couldn't do it. And it was like you had to work together. And I'm like, do you want to just do it?
yeah, that's what
But-
we'd always do. Yeah, hey, just like exit
you get
out,
me through this.
exit out, and we'll
and you
get
know how
through
like
it.
Legos where you can drop out and like
Yeah.
get back. You can't do that in that
Aw.
game. So it's like you.
Do
Have
they force you to play with two people then?
I think he said he tried it like by himself, but I think it's like harder because like it's like designed to do it with two people.
Okay.
But yeah, one of my coworkers, her and her boyfriend had played it, and she was like, "Oh my god, yeah, like we finished that game and like took us like not that long." And I was like, "Okay, like it's gonna take us a lot longer," but
Yeah.
it was just funny.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I just on the. Before we switch topics, I was gonna say I pulled up my Xbox. I haven't played that thing in like forever, and I was like, because I knew we had the NBA game on it, and I was like, hey, like I wanna get, because the NBA playoffs are right now, and I was oh, it makes me.
Are you
wanna
in a
play.
March Madness?
No, it's NBA playoffs. So
Were you in the March Madness with college or no? Oh,
no.
okay.
No, I won my bracket one year, beat all of the whole band at Oshkosh, and I was like, never again.
Yeah.
I went from
Stay high.
Literally, I went from, because like how they did it was like every round that your team moved on, it would be like 3 points, 5 points, 10 points, 20 points, like 50 points, and then so like if your team made it beyond that, you'd get that points for the team.
Oh, that's cool.
And so like I was like at the bottom because originally like I had only like 5 teams make it, but then like slowly those teams kept making it, and finally like I think I guessed the 3 out of the 4 final 4, and this was for D3 because Oshkosh was in it, and the only team that didn't make it was Oshkosh. So all the other 3 teams, and I like, you were not gonna not put Oshkosh all the way through just because it's fun, and so I ended up winning that whole thing because I was like, oh, that's crazy. I just remember them putting like in the chat like, hey, this is the rankings for this week or whatever. Like, I was funny. Like, oh, I'm coming up, but yeah, no. That was just pure guessing. I was like, yeah,
sorry, but yeah, moving back to the NBA, not college.
No, so I like last night I like pulled it up on my TV and I was like, hey, like, can we, like, how does this work? And I was like trying to get it, and then like it would refuse to connect to the internet, and I'm like, bro, I just wanted to play my career, right? You know, after watching the Bucks, I just wanted to be on. Like,
how was your game?
Wow, it was the only game they won, so that's awesome. Pretty fire, pretty legendary. Alex, did you watch any of the Bucks or no?
I did not. No.
Okay, are you a big basketball guy or no?
Not super big.
Yeah, no. Anyway, so that was pretty fun to do that, go down there. And it'll be interesting because I don't know if Giannis is going to be sticking around. So so I'm glad that we got a chance to go see them play or whatever.
Yeah, your seats looked cool. That's where we had went when we gone.
Okay.
I've only been to the Bucks one other time.
Those are good seats. But
gotcha.
You brought up that you were playing that game with your boyfriend. And so I wanted to talk with you as you're the first female on the podcast, so someone I can finally bounce ideas, get like what do we think different about relationships and all that kind of stuff. Like, what are women looking for in a relationship that men think they are or they're not, or, you know, like, because let's be real here. I have a YouTube channel. Go check it out. I don't know what camera on, Jordan Whitrock on YouTube. And I had, like, my community is young, and it's like when I hear them talk about, like, oh, like, I'm gonna get a girlfriend, and it's like, okay, but like, do you even know it? Like, do you even know what a relationship looks like other than like what you want out of it, which is probably not gonna be the best, you know, like that's not what you're in a relationship for. And so what I'm hoping is that they're here at minute whatever 46, I don't know where we're at, but it's like, is there a way that you could break down like, hey, like, this is really what we're looking for in a relationship compared to what you think. And hey, you know what? When you're 14 or 15 or 16, maybe it's not the perfect time to get into a relationship. Like, what's your journey through that kind of thing? And I can bounce my, like, what I have been through and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I think, well, I didn't really date until college. I think it was like that idea of you're like, oh, I'm behind. Like, I should have been dating. I should have did things in high school.
That's such a common thing now.
And like, it's so interesting because like, I remember it was like an insecurity. Like, oh my God, like I'm not dating anyone. Like all my friends were dating or like.
And this would, what age would you get?
This would be like, probably like high school, I would say, because like middle school is just middle school. Yeah. But I think that idea of it's like, well, like you don't have to. And like at the time, like what would you have done? Like you would have gone on dates or like seen each other at football games. It's like, well, you can do that with friends too. I think in college then it was like that early college where you are like just still trying to figure out who you are. So then like when you take on a relationship, it's like unless you know who you are and like where you're like, I don't know, faith became a big thing, but it was like the idea. Like just like who you are as a person. And like, then that further helps you figure out who like you want to be with too. But yeah, so I would say definitely like late college when like also like, that's like when you're ready to be married or like take that next step too. Yeah. So it was like the idea of it's like, I wasn't going to date just to date. And that's kind of what it became. And then like with my relationships. Like it was the idea of it's like, oh, is this gonna work out? Like, do I see a future in this? And if not, then like we can just be friends, or like we don't need to be anything more, because nothing's gonna come out.
Yeah, no, I like that. I just remember being in high school, and it was like, I think it was the pressure of,
Oh,
like,
for sure. It was we were the Soups kids, so like that added on.
But
to
I don't
it.
think it, like, for me, it was the pressure of like I remember there was this girl that I had liked, and then like found out that she liked me, right? Freshman year.
Yep.
And then it was like, you're not gonna like talk, and then you start talking like online, right? Which is like not healthy. There was a lot,
Snapchat, you know?
There was a lot of late nights of just us, like it was just us talking too, like nothing, you know.
But then you don't talk to each other at school at all.
100%.
You're like,
and that
I don't
was,
even know who
like
this
that
person
was my weakness, and that's like my I think I still have that dysfunction of like and that's what I got to get better at is like, hey, like when I see someone in public that I know, go up and actually talk to them. Like it doesn't have to be a relationship related, but it's like that's what you do. That's what's appropriate.
I think the idea of like traditional relationships are kind of making a comeback. I think people are sick of the only on the phone or only on the screens, or it's like the long distance. I know like that was big. Like I kind of did most what people do, like you join the dating apps, that kind of thing, get into that scene a little bit, but like I didn't want a relationship over the phone. So it's like, well, after the first couple of texts, maybe you go on a date or two, but then it's like, okay, like I actually want to get to know you, and if not, then like this isn't going to be something, because like that's not a relationship. And I think people don't realize that. Like you can say whatever you want. You can nicely craft out a message. You can think about it. You have time. It's like, well, no, but that's not the real authentic person.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, like the more you get to know that person, or you're seeing them in person, then it's like, well, yeah, then it's normal conversation.
Yeah. No, I just laugh when like I have a guy come into my stream and be like, yo, like me and my girl, like, we're doing great, or like they'll be like, oh, we're struggling, and it's like, oh, like that's unfortunate, you know, like, and they're like, yeah, like she's just not been on Discord the last like 3 days.
Did you message her on anything?
I'm like
that would be more of a friend,
and then you find out it's like someone that's not, and like they can't drive, they're too young, and it's like someone in a different state or someone.
But
in a
then I would
country.
go back to being
And
like, I think you're just lonely then.
100%.
So like you're not actually looking for a relationship, because like relationships, like they're designed to like be with this person, spend time with this person.
No, that's
and
what's like, it's just like I'm like I don't know what you want me to say, because to me this is just sad, and like bro, like you know, and but I'm like I
would say like the biggest thing is like your time will come, and like don't rush it, and like truly enjoy the season you're in. Like it is okay to be like single and like spending time with friends, because like at some point you won't have that time again.
Well, what's interesting is like obviously I'm not dating anyone right now, and so it's kind of unique because it's
weird.
like that's well, what's that supposed to mean?
Like,
what's that supposed to mean?
Okay, you were the guy that though like had always been dating somebody. Like I was the but like in the nicest way possible. But like you were like there was a point in our family where like we were all dating somebody, and then it flipped to the point where like we had all kind of broken up with somebody, and then I ended up being the only person dating somebody, and that was not okay.
Okay, no, I need to clear the air. I've not always been dating someone.
No, it's just
I dated someone my junior year, and then dated someone else through like my summer into senior year, and then dated someone my sophomore year of college, and that was a longer relationship. So then we broke up at the beginning of the spring semester of my senior year. So 3 people.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think it is good to date people.
You made it seem like I've been around the block, and I'm like, that's crazy.
No, what I meant is like you were in like relationships that like you cared for this person, and like you were with this person, you spent time with this person.
No,
you know?
yeah.
But like that idea of it was like, it was just weird to be on like the flip side, because I think like even like Rachel will say this too, like we just really didn't date people, you know, and it's like you were friends with guys and stuff, but like it wasn't like to that next level.
I remember being the first one in the family dating someone.
you
poor crazy thing. Experience. Yeah.
But yeah, and then like you and Isaac too, and so I just think like even in our family, like it's been a weird adjustment, and I think now too, like just I think dating has changed, and just the idea of what it is or what's the purpose of it.
I'm trying to think who did all. No, I don't think so. Did all 5 of us have a significant other
at one point? All 5 of us had somebody.
It probably lasted like a week or 2.
I just remember it was around like a Christmas time.
Yep.
But then like somebody started it, they broke up, and then it was like
it?
kind of, it was Kenzie that started
Okay, it was Kenzie, then Rachel.
No, it was Kenzie, then me.
Oh, that's right.
And then you.
Yeah.
And then.
No. Because you would have got back into
Isaac.
that relationship. You would have gotten into a new relationship before then.
No, I waited like 7 months before I met Jordan. We broke up over spring break.
But
because Kenzie didn't go to prom with them.
I don't know.
Timelines.
We don't know.
Long story short, at one point we were all together, and then we all broke up.
I remember there was a point where all of us were dating someone and you weren't.
Yeah, and there was that
and
too,
then,
and I felt pressure with that.
And then, so then you.
That's when I started the dating app.
Yeah, the kid was like, oh, shit,
that
I gotta
was in
figure
college.
something out.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then you were like, okay, I gotta like. I'm
no,
gonna start.
because
Yeah.
I went on like a date with somebody like I had known, and then I was like, not like ready for that. And then like it would have been later than in the summer where I was like, okay, like I could start it. I was like out on my own, like not living at home, because that was the other thing too. Like I commuted in college, and it's like I'm not gonna bring somebody back to my parents' house. Like it was just, well, yeah, we're a little different, but it was just that idea. It's like that's just not like I'm gonna date somebody when I'm out and I'm like my own. And so I think too that also helped with like waiting longer enough. But yeah, then I went on the dating apps, and that was a journey because I was the only kid in our family that had done that.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell mom and dad either.
Dude, I'm not.
I don't think I told anyone until
I got Tinder one time.
Oh, Tinder's terrible.
No,
I did
okay,
at least I did Hinge.
No,
like Hinge is a little
bit
bit better.
Bumble and Tinder one time.
That's those are like polar opposites.
And this would have been like beginning of, I don't even know, like end of freshman year of college, or like just to see what it was, because all of the people I was talking to had, and I was like, well, shit, I just want to see what it is.
Well, and the other thing
then
too.
I like had it for one day, and then went to school the next day, and they're like, hey, I saw your profile, I swiped right, like all my friends, and I have a rule where it's like, if I'm friends with you, I'm not gonna date, because I don't want to like
be
start
weird.
something, right?
No, I get that.
And I was like, oh, they're like, if you see me, you have to swipe right, because it was all stats thing. And I was like,
because oh my god, we were talking about this last night.
So I deleted all, like I literally had it for 2 days.
There is like an algorithm, and Tinder, I guess, is like one of the worst, where it's like they put you in categories where like, you know, like the really like top people, whatever it would be. Fake. Yeah. Yep. Like they will move you, and then like at some point after a while, like you'll only be in a certain bracket. So if you start like seeing people, but like it tears like people down in a sense. And
so when I found out that, I was like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, no, I can't do it.
But no, I remember like my friends were on it, and they like Sarah and Trent, they'd met through like Tinder and stuff. But like I was like one of the first ones to do Hinge, because I was like, I don't want to do Tinder. Like I know what Tinder is. Yeah. And then like I tried Bumble, but I'm like, I'm not that forward. So like that's not gonna work.
Those
like,
are
I
weird
need
prompts.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, but, dude. Yo, what was your like thing on your profile? Like what was your hook that you were like banking on people seeing you and being like, yeah, that's cool?
Well, like you gotta do all their errors.
Yes, but like what's the one thing that you're maybe the most proud, and this could be cringy too, because
I honestly
had nothing.
I don't remember. We were just talking about this last night because we were laughing, and I was like, well, why did you swipe? Because like that's how me and Jordan met. But I remember like there was a picture of like travel, because usually like traveling's a big, so there was a picture of me in Japan, so I was like, cool, I'm a world traveler, you know, that kind of thing. Usually my smile is something easy that people would always be like, oh, you have such a nice smile. I'm like, thanks, like you do too. And it's like that awkward. I put a picture of like Watson and me up north, so it's like more of your like your well-rounded
So what was the
person.
one picture like, okay, I hope this sells, or something?
Honestly, that one did, and my travel one. Because it was like, oh, you like dogs? Like, and allergic.
Okay, what are your thoughts on if a guy has a fishing photo as his first photo of him holding a fish? What are your thoughts?
I think it's just overrated. But also I don't think it is, but if it's like that's their hobby, like how much does that fish mean to you?
Dude, I was talking to someone, and they were like, bro, I see a fish, left immediately.
Like, I think it's just overdone, because the other idea too, it's like I think hunting is the same way. Like
if I hunt and fish, like,
but that's the thing. So if
you're looking,
if that's what you're looking for,
then it's not
right
your thing.
No. And so it's like, well, then maybe that guy's not for you. Like for me, like I like fishing, I don't hunt. I sat in a hunting stand this last year. Hunting's not for me. But fishing was always fun, but I'm not like a diehard fisherman. But I think like if that's a hobby you enjoy, like I think it's cool to see people's hobbies.
Alex, what about you? Do you do the dating apps? Have you done it before?
I have, yeah.
Let's go.
What was your stories?
What was your like? Yeah, if you have a crazy story, but also like what was your selling point? you know?
Oh,
Was it
I
you
mean,
in a
it
plane
was-
or something like that? Like I'm a pilot.
Yeah.
but-
No, well, like I haven't had them in years. now.
Yeah.
But like when I did have them, like all my photos were like 4 years old. So like I didn't
That's
even look
the
like.
other thing too. Guys do not update their photos.
Oh, 100%.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
funny.
So yeah, it was just like never like I never really got much because like I didn't look like how I did look. So like I was all like high school photos of me.
Okay, wait. So what was your go-to photo? Like, did you have a photo you're like, oh yeah, this is me.
No.
This is me.
No. It was all group photos too. So like you
Oh,
wouldn't even
that's
know who was.
see now that's a red flag.
It's a group
If it's all
photo.
because you don't know who the person is.
Oh yeah, I get.
So unless like I remember there was this one person that like I didn't swipe on, but they had group pictures where you didn't know who the person was,
Who's
and I was
their
like, that
algorithm.
is sketchy.
Yeah.
And so then you assume it's like one person, but
Like
like,
over here, it's the ugly guy.
but I'm
That's
like,
who it is.
you know, like be proud of who you are. Like you can have good pictures and bad pictures,
Dude,
but
I remember like
yeah.
trying to find pictures. I'm like,
but
bro,
it's hard. Like I don't take.
I'm over
self-
here like,
you know?
yeah. I don't have good pictures. I'm
Or
over
like
here-
my friends don't take pictures of me.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't know.
I'm like, bro, what do I put on? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like. No, here's my profile. All right, I'm a chill guy. I used to play sports in high school. Now I'm into theater, so you
That's
could
cool.
take that. But
Still
a lot
in
of people are gonna
college,
think
you
that's
know?
gay. So like, okay.
Not gay.
So what do I got to do? Put like a picture of me in a show to convince them
No,
that
I
you
gotta
know?
do you in a truck
And
or
then
something.
it's like it's
Real.
yeah, I don't own a truck. And so like I was doing my profile. I'm like, this
It's
ain't
hard,
selling
though.
nothing. We ain't gonna.
I
get a
remember
buck or two.
like trying to come up with those prompts. You're like, I don't know who I am, and I think that's like another like sign. You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you
If
know,
you're
like,
struggling with
if
the
you're
prompts or
struggling with who
pictures,
you
yeah.
are, maybe not ready for that. But like, I just
Yep.
remember like I verified it with so many of my girlfriends, and then like once you finally like post it, you're like, okay, now I'm waiting, and then like there, like I went to bed, and you'd wake up, and there'd be like a whole bunch of people,
Well,
and you'd be like,
you're a girl, and they're like the population of
Oh, for
especially
sure.
like those apps is like 95% male, 5% female. I swear. And so
well,
like
and then it's like the weeding out, or
Yeah.
like there would be like there was definitely like things that you talk about, and there was just some people who just wanted to talk. And it's like, well, like that's not why I'm on here. Like, good luck with your
well, that's what they
searches.
said. They wanted to play. Hey, we're just friends.
And that's like, yeah, I'm
They
good.
would
That's
be
not what I'm
more
looking
than
for.
friends.
But yeah, I remember there was just like some, and like I would like to think I'm a nice person, but like when like you'd finally like get off the app, you'd start texting, and like I was a firm like if you sent me your snap and not your phone number, like that was like I'm good.
But did you ask for it? What did you like? What
Like
did
I'd
you
always
say?
be like, hey, want to exchange numbers, or they would prompt and be
Oh,
like, hey,
okay.
want to exchange numbers, or if they'd be like, hey, here's my snap, it'd be like, oh, like I just text usually, like I
Yeah.
don't do snap.
Yeah.
Like snap is, I don't know, not something I do
Yeah.
as much anymore either. But like I remember that was like a thing too. But like you'd finally get on the date and you're like nervous, but like towards the end of it, I was like, let's just go on a walking date. Like not a lot into it. Like no one has to spend money.
Oh, you weren't even
walk.
Okay, well, I
Like
got a
we
question.
would like
Yeah.
I did like dinners and lunches or coffees,
Yeah,
but then
yeah.
I found like it was awkward because you were sitting
You're
right
the
in front of the
perfect
person.
to ask this question.
Okay.
Would you go to a movie on a first date? Because I asked Isaac and
Probably
I
not.
had this conversation.
Okay.
And then I went after the podcast. We went downstairs
Yeah.
and we had company over. And then I asked all of them the
Yeah.
question and got answers. But I don't think any of like us who had that conversation had really been on the amount of dates or like first dates.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I don't know who this person is. Like
Yeah.
I'm just meeting. So
I would
that's the
say
question.
no. I wouldn't want to be in a dark movie theater
Okay.
with a stranger.
So now here's the second question.
Yeah.
Would you do a movie if there was a dinner involved at some point?
Maybe, but like truthfully, like I just don't usually do movie theater
Yeah.
dates. Like I have done them in the past, and like that's usually where it ends because like you don't talk about anything, you don't learn anything about them, and like I just probably wouldn't. Not that I haven't gone to movies and like later dates when you know the person,
Yeah.
but yeah, I probably wouldn't do a movie because you don't talk. And like
Mm-hmm.
the one thing I will say though, like at least at the theater or like I would go on a lot of walks because you have to walk and talk,
Yeah.
but like I don't like staring at the person. So like if you would go on a dinner date, I don't want to sit across from you because then like in a sense, I nowhere else can my eyes go. So if there's a
You can
leg
just go
in
like
the
this.
but like if there's a leg in the then like no, think about it. If there's a leg in the conversation, then you're just awkwardly staring at each other.
Yeah.
Versus like if you're walking or have a coffee or something, like you have the environment to
Okay.
look at and you can be like, oh my gosh, like
So
look at
do
that
you have
bird.
a timestamp on how long your first date has to be?
No, like okay,
What's
like
too long?
it depends on the person. Like me and Jordan's
But-
first date was like a 3-hour walk conversation,
Oh,
but
okay.
I've also been on dates where they're like within 5 minutes, you're like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. And you kind of just take a short route or like
Yeah.
it's done within 30 minutes.
Okay.
But like usually I like will stick it out, or like I work in healthcare. You can make really good small talk.
Someone was saying that they like it's 2 hours. That's what they give for a first date. Whether like it could end earlier. But
I
like,
think it
it's
just depends.
2 hours. It's like that. No, that 2 hours is when you know it's gonna work or not.
I
and
know
I'm like, that's crazy.
I think within like the first like meeting, like you'll like obviously judge the person right away. But like
someone out of the blue, in the sense of like I've always known, or at least have spent extensive time with them, whether it be just us two with a group or whatever, or like as friends. Because like that's the thing, is like you come to a crossroad where you're like, are you gonna be like, it's like you meet a new person, you got to get to know them, figure out who they are, and then that's like that. At that point for me, it's like, oh, do you start what feelings do you start having? And it's like, oh, I might have romantic feelings or like a future feeling vibe with you.
I think you're lucky.
Is that something I want to proceed like do, or is it like I can tell you have no interest in me whatsoever, and so it's like, cool, then we'll just be friends kind of thing? Or if there's like a chance that I feel like you're vibing, then you get the cheeky like text or convo where you're like, hey,
trying to take it to the next level.
Would you ever want to go like talk about life?
I think it's interesting too, because like in your field you have a decent mix of guys and girls. Like in nursing, we were female dominated. So it's like, and we were in a separate building. We were off campus in a separate building. And so like I went to the tech when I started.
Sorry, no, I'm just laughing because you said like, oh, you have a, I swear like almost everyone was like gay at the theater.
You were the only straight guy.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
But
I love all my people there. but like that's my point. That's the funny thing. Like I had a conversation with a senior my freshman year of college. I came out of class. He like followed me, not creepily, but like we were just walking the same way. And then like I was like, okay, you know what? Like I should just like we were chatting. I was like, you know what? I should just like talk with him because like trying to make friends so that people
because you're trying to like connect with people.
Yeah, just like, you know. And his first comment's like, well, as long as you like gay people, you're gonna be able to fit in on this community. And I'm like, well, I don't have really any
animosity towards
them. Like I'm not like angry
I'm
at them. But
I
like that's like he's like,
that's
everyone's
crazy.
gay in this department, and I was like, okay, I've talked to other people.
Are you okay with you?
But I don't know. So
that's
then,
funny.
so that was my introduction into the theater department. So I was like, all right.
But like the other thing too, like I switched schools, so I transferred after like a year and a half. So it's like then you went to a whole new school. So it's like you didn't meet the freshmen, you didn't do the typical college stuff because you were at like a tech, which was all like adults or people like ready for their degree. And so it was just like, hey, you're just there for school. So it's like then you went to like Marion, that was like, oh, like they have sports and not like football games or things like that, but they have their other sports. But it's like, so then I went into like a very specific group of people that was female dominated, and then you were off campus for our building because we were downtown. So like for me, it's like you really didn't get introduced to people or like get to know people on that like so it's like I felt like I only could do a dating app if I wanted to meet people, because then also like if you were friends with people who knew people, it's like, well, maybe that's not the person I would like vibe with. Or it's like I knew a lot of people who were already dating, because it's like, well, they were dating my friends or like things like that. So it's, I don't know, it was kind of just like, I don't want to say like a Hail Mary, but I was like, well, let's try it. Like everyone's talking about it, why not?
Did you ever have a relationship where like you text each other all the time?
Yeah.
And like,
I don't even think it counts as like a relationship. Yeah. But like during COVID, that was like a thing.
Oh, okay. I'm not even counting. I'm talking like either before COVID or like texting was like, Alex, you too. You ever had that where it was like you never really talked to the person outside? You considered yourself dating. You guys outside of school or whatever would meet up once in a while, but it was majority like staying up till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. just
I guess
texting.
No. Then I would say no, because ours was mainly because we were long distance.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Or like we would talk because we were friends.
Yeah.
So
no. Yeah. No.
But that would have been like honestly the only thing, because again, like I would much rather like FaceTime you or like call you and like I don't know. It's
this.
You got
sometimes I look back and I just like cringe at myself, because just whether it be like, oh, like I was so immature is what it is,
and
it's
totally
like,
insecure, immature, to know 100%. Who I was.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, and that was the thing too, is like we live in a small rural town.
Yeah.
If you're in the band or if you're like into musicals and you choose musicals over basketball, you might get labeled. I don't know.
Slightly. No way. And you play the sports that weren't popular.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like, you know, there was a part of me that I was like, it's not probably gonna work out here for that point because there's not a lot of people that was like that. But that was like the thing was like when we do a show or whatever, and you get like I don't even know how to describe the teacher, but like the person that was like maybe like the hard ass didn't really give out a lot of compliments, just in general, like for anything. Like was really big into sports. Like when you get that teacher, like after a show, be like, "Wow, you killed it up there." I'd be like,
I think I know who this teacher was.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I killed it up there.
Yeah,
like,
I'm only a sophomore.
Yeah, and then it's like, you go to like 8 years later, it's like, wow, I didn't think I'd be here.
No,
I'm like,
no,
which is kind of funny to think
Gomez.
how that all.
Well, actually, you were back in middle school when you really hit it big.
No, it was high school. Middle school, I was an orphan.
Hey, I was the rose seller in that one.
I got a line because she kicked one of the girls out of the show.
That's right. Who? Oh.
Yeah.
I get you.
Because she was going to miss one show.
Little Oliver.
Yeah, she was going to miss one show. And so she's like, well, you can't do the show then, which was kind of extreme. But like, especially at middle school level.
Right.
And so then I ended up getting the line. And that was kind of fun.
That's
and then
cool.
I was
where it all started.
I was like, let's go. I'm like the top of the worst.
When was your wizard one? That was 7th grade, wasn't it?
Was it, Eddie? Yeah, that was 7th grade, which was kind of a fun show.
But then you were the priest or pastor person in Footloose. That was 8th grade.
Yeah, but that was it was like a bigger role, but not big, if that makes sense. So like, if you were one of the kids, you were a bigger role.
Gotcha.
I wasn't one of the kids. I was the dad. So like, I was
mature.
I had like, yeah, I was tall. Let's be real.
And he had a deep voice.
Yeah, I had like one solo.
Yeah.
And like 2 scenes
maybe.
maybe.
Not solo though.
No, dude. The only video recording we have of that is me messing up the solo.
Any of the ones that like were recorded or like I look back and I'm
allegedly no.
Yeah. But like they're so cringy. I'm like, wow,
dude,
people sat through this. Like
that was so
okay.
So 8th grade. I think it's like the second show. Nailed it the first time. Our uncle's there and he liked to record stuff and make like fun videos, right? And so we did Footloose. And for some reason, we get to the solo. The music starts playing. I blank on the words. I'm like, but it's like a complete blank where it's like, wow, I have no thoughts. Period. It's white
start
up
singing
there.
Footloose.
There is no noise, and so I'm literally like, okay, well, what are we gonna do here? So I just start like talking about like the topic that I was supposed to be singing about, and then finally, it like right as the refrain was about to kick in, I just started singing the refrain. So it kind of worked, but I remember.
But that's like great improv. Like that's stuff people.
But I remember that I had to practice before every show my solo just so I wouldn't mess it up again. Which I was like, fair enough. Yeah. But, and then I've always had something like that go on. I swear on a show at some point.
But the crowd will never know.
Actually, not Footloose. Actually, Sound of Music, we didn't have that. We just couldn't all hit. We just
because you hit the high note, didn't you? Was that your part?
Yeah, we just couldn't sing harmonies together as kids. We couldn't figure it out.
Yeah,
there was probably not a lot of time spent on us. I think there was not a lot of music preparation for that, which is kind of unfortunate when the musical is called Sound of Music.
You know, with us though, that was a cool point. Was like we did do musicals together.
Yeah, and we played sports together.
And we did.
Yeah, because of all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because we did.
But my career ended in high school. We knew that was going to be it.
You honestly ended on a high note, though.
I did. That was probably the best role I ever got.
Addams Family.
Me in my yellow dress. Cringy pictures.
I found
my bubbly personality.
Did I find all the footage of that? I think I did.
Oh, don't tell.
So I think I might be able to splice it together because now I know how to do that. I didn't make an actual. I found all of Isaac's of a show.
He
allegedly,
has some good shows too.
But.
See, I would enjoy watching your Footloose again just to see Isaac as coach.
I don't even know if we have. I don't think we have like
so funny.
full stuff for that though.
But like your Oklahoma was good too. Yeah. That one was really good. Your voice was just so good.
I got lucky, yeah, that it kind of worked.
Yeah.
And then senior was low. Actually, senior year almost made me not want to do anything related to
I remember you saying that.
I almost went out for the basketball team. I hadn't played basketball in 7, and I was just talking about.
Yeah, you probably would have done great.
I was just talking about how I hated the show so much, and all the guys were like, dude, come out for basketball. Which is like the funny thing, because like all of them I felt like hated me my entire time. And the only time they liked me was when I played basketball, because I was good at basketball.
You were.
And they were like, come out for the team. Like you'll like, you may, like, I probably wouldn't start just because I hadn't been on the team. But you would have been like the first song, but whatever that would have been. Yeah. And I was like, I debated for like at least 1 week. I was like, shit, I did all the musicals that I did. This show's not going to be good. There's like not even any good roles because I know I'm not going to get cast as the lead because it's like a
young child.
A younger character. Senior. So it's like there's really 2 roles I could get casted as, but I don't really want to do any of them.
But ironically, that's the show then you did in college.
Yeah. So So then I ended up. Then I was like, nah, I don't. I was like, what was the reason I quit basketball? It was spending all that time with those people.
And doing
that,
something
being
you don't
that environment.
love. Yeah.
And so I was like, why would I go back to that environment? So that's why I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do this. And then I like forced a buddy of mine to do it because he wasn't gonna do it.
Was it?
My God. I was like, he was like,
God.
I'm not doing that. And I was like, no, you're doing it. It's
that's
my last
so
show.
funny.
But I just
He
remember
had a decent role too in that, wasn't he? One of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I just remember us like being like, we don't want to be here at all. So, but then ironically, that the character I really wanted, I didn't get, and I was like kind of devastated. And I
Is that who you got in college
I
then?
tried to work my way into the role because at the time the director didn't really know all of us, and so the stage manager.
Oh, that's when you got the new one because Los went out. Los wasn't your director your junior and senior year, was he? He
well,
went out
we
on
didn't have a
Gomez?
junior. This would have been senior year. So because I had a different director. I had him for 2 years, and then I had two different directors.
So he went out after my senior year.
Yeah,
Then.
mhm.
Gotcha.
That's why they made that show so good.
It was such a good show.
So good.
For never hearing anything about it and not being a big like Halloween person where you like
I
know
just
it was
remember-
such a good
I
a
remember
good
getting
show.
that cast list was crazy.
Yeah.
It was good.
And like
It was
honestly everyone in their roles did really good.
Yeah, I don't think it would have. I don't know if there was anyone that you could switch.
You really couldn't.
Because sometimes you can be like. So then we did the other show, and it was like, I know, like, okay, wait, before I go there, I tried to, so in high school, for that show, Peter and the Starcatcher, I tried to force the hand, because the stage director's like, hey, they're saying, like, do you have any thoughts on the cast? So I was like, damn, I really wanted to be this role. So then she tried to get me that role, and they were like, nah.
Who was it? It wasn't Peter, was it?
No, it was
Stash?
It was
Okay.
Stash. So then I ended up being the dad, not
Yes.
Stash, which, like, ironically made me hate the show. And so I had this animosity for no reason towards the show.
Then they did it in college.
And then I get to junior year of college. They decide I did a monologue as Black Stash for a class, which got the professor thinking, because they were like, hey, you need to have a monologue memorized by like whatever. And I'm like, I don't even know what I was gonna do. And then I was like looking through the library of like scripts, and I was like, Peter Stargate. I was like, I wonder if there'd be a fun Black Stash, just like something to do. And then I read one, did it for class, and she was like, when you did it in class, it just got me thinking like that would be a fun show to do, not necessarily that'd be the character. So then at the end of like one of the shows we did before they would start the casting call, I like told Drake, I was like, hey, we got to tell Jane, we got to make this happen that one of us is Stash and Speed, so that we just spend the whole entire show together.
Literally.
I was like, I don't care what way it goes.
Yeah.
It could go either way. It just depends on what type of show you want, because we have different acting styles. But like,
but you guys' energy together, you and Drake,
yeah,
is
no,
so
and
good.
so
Any show
that's
you
the
guys were
only
together.
reason that show like. And so now it's like,
so
it's got to
funny.
be maybe one of my, I mean, there's a lot of incidences in the show with cast like problems, but luckily I didn't have to deal with it because it was just Drake and I only had to deal with us the entire time because we were doing our own scenes while
Oh my
everyone
god,
else
you
was
guys were
together.
so good. I wanted to see that show more. I got COVID. I went to your Friday or Thursday night one, and I
Thursday.
was sick the rest of the week. It was so disappointing because I remember seeing it and I was like, that is like so good.
Yeah, no.
And it was just so funny. Like I've never, because like it's so different from a high school level to a college level. But yeah, that was good.
But again, that show flipped a verse in the song. I just started singing the wrong one. I was like, oh, dang it. But then I was like, all right, we'll clutch up. We'll just do it. Which probably confused the people because they were like, probably had actions for the words I was singing. They're like, this doesn't line up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, sweet.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right. Well, I don't need to keep you here any longer.
Sounds
to
good.
keep-
You gotta
Thanks for
end this
coming
at
on.
some
Yeah.
point.
Well, this just means that we have so much to talk
That's
about.
crazy.
And now that it's it's not scary. because
Yeah.
there's not a lot going
we
on.
were nervous about this.
We have another mic over there. Maybe we get like Isaac or someone
There
else.
you
We can
go.
have us three. Give a 3 sibling perspective. My goal
Crazy.
at some point is to
Just
get all
of us.
5 of us. But let's see. It might have to be a summer thing. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Yeah. No. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
So with that, everyone, thanks for watching. If you're watching this as your first episode, consider dropping a like, subscribe to the channel, follow, all that good stuff, and check us out on Instagram, all that good stuff. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.